Welcome to the Knitty Cats Podcast, episode 23. It is fall in Colorado today. It is so incredibly beautiful. If you're new to my podcast, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, it is so nice to see you again. My name is Julie, and I'm coming to you today from the foothills of the Colorado Rockies, and they are really shining bright this morning. Today, I want to talk about care for your sweaters, for our garments that we make. I want to talk about washing them and also depilling and what to use when you're depilling. I also have a little trip to my hometown on the other side of the Rocky Mountains, and I will take you along with me to a woolen mill there, and I bought some very special yarn. So grab a cuppa and a cat and let's get started. So I am experiencing a staycation this week. For those of you that don't know what that is, I don't know if it's kind of a new something, but it's where you take vacation time and you stay home. And I can honestly say I'm not sure I've ever done that before with no agenda. Now I do my schedule way in advance, so I just took this week off. I hadn't really taken a vacation this year. And I thought I could really use some time at home, just resting and relaxing and knitting. And if you know me, that's not what happened. I have been really busy, really busy. I'll fill you in at the end so that I don't have to bore everyone who doesn't want to hear about my life. And I also had a birthday this week. So it was my birthday on Monday, the 13th. And it was a great birthday because it was a birthday with no expectation. It was very chillax. I had a nice celebration at work on Saturday. I'm going to put in a picture of, they did a nice food spread, and then I'll put in a little picture of my staff, my sales staff. And they put this little picture together, so I'll put that in right now. They're so cute. I have the best team ever. I really do have the best people working for us. And just some with friends, went out and had some meal with some friends, and then my family. So it was a great birthday, but I have been really busy. I have been working like at warp speed, trying to get things done at my house. Then I started sanding a piece of furniture yesterday. Now bear in mind, I've never sanded and restained a piece of furniture ever. This is a new experience for me, but I'll let you know what it looks like. I should have taken a picture before, but anyway, when I get that done, you'll see that. I've been gardening. I want to show you some of the things. Remember, I love to dye with plants. So my rabbit brush, which I gathered a few weeks ago, is now dry. I have a whole bag of it, and if you can see it, it is beautiful. And do you remember I said it smells like honey? It smells like honey. It is so good. I also did a second crop of my indigo. I planted indigo in June in my garden. It's not winter hardy here, so I think I'm just going to let it die. I have so many plants inside that I have to bring in from outside. I'm going to have to let it die and hopefully get another plant next year. But I don't even know if it's going to work. And here's the indigo second batch. I have not researched how to dye with indigo yet. I don't know what mordants, if any, I need to use. But I do know that it does dye permanently because I have a little outdoor carpet here that's kind of off-white. And one day I came out a couple weeks ago, and there were some indigo leaves and then a big spot of like purple. And a raccoon or a deer or somebody must have eaten some and spit it out, but it is still here to this day. So I have a feeling it is permanent with no mordant. Some poor little raccoon probably has a blue mouth. I also picked some marigolds. Now I picked marigolds for two reasons. Number one, I like marigolds in my vegetable garden because they deter pests. So I plant them in my vegetable bed, and then I have dyed with marigolds before, but not successfully. So I have so many marigolds this year, I'm going to try again. So I picked a whole bag, and this is just a little sampling of what I picked. And it was interesting because I picked fresh and thought they would look different. I don't know why. These are the fresh ones. These are the ones that were already dried and dead on the plant, and I picked them for reseeding. Now, I don't know if you've ever picked or reseeded from marigolds, but it's probably the easiest one of anything I've ever done. Here, let me get a good one. So basically, here's your little head of the flower that's dry. You just take it and pull it open. And can you see all these? Each one of these will be a little plant. And if you've ever bought marigold seeds in the pack, that's about how many you get. And that's what they look like. So maybe in my next giveaway, I'm going to send everyone a little pod of marigolds so that you can plant them. How about that? I'll save things for you. And I've also planted my lavender, or my lavender is dry. And it's beautiful. I don't know what I'll do with it. It smells so good. And I will soon pick my sage, rosemary, thyme. Those are the 3 I pick usually, and just dry them, and I use them all year. I've already picked my basil and I have dried it. So it's been kind of fun having the time to do that. All right. Do you have your cup of tea? I know you're ready to go with sweaters. This is, oh, by the way, this is a mug that I actually made. My former life, I was a potter. I like crafting, and this is one of my mugs, and I signed it on the back. I don't know what year it is, but anyway, I started putting the year I made them. I made pots and pie plates and serving dishes and bowls, lots of mugs. But I did pottery for about 7 years. I like it a lot. I'm not sure how you guys wash your sweaters. I used to hand wash all my sweaters and lay them out to dry. And it took, roll them in the towel and lay them out. And most of my sweaters are hand wash sweaters, so I don't do that anymore. So what I did is I figured out a way on my washing machine to use the very gentlest cycle with cold water and very little agitation. And that's how I wash all my sweaters now. If you know something about sweaters and felting, wool and felting, wool needs 2 things to felt. It needs hot water and it needs agitation. So as long as you don't do either of those things, you do not felt your sweater. I have a top loading washing machine, so I've watched it and how slow it moves, and it literally goes like this, which is probably more gently or as gently as I hand wash my sweaters. So I put in light colors in case they bleed, and I do use regular detergent, but I use those eco sheets. I love them. They're pretty gentle, and some fabric softener, just a little bit. And I let it spin on the gentle cycle. And a lot of times if it's a heavy sweater, I have to then rearrange it, because a lot of times when it comes out, it's, like this. It's the arms up here, and you don't want to do a heavy spin and misshape it. So I realign it and put it back in and just do the spin cycle. Again, that's for the heavier sweaters because it gets so much of the water out. And then I do block it dry, lay it and block it dry so that it dries nice. I'm telling you this because what I have recently done is when I was putting my sweaters back in my closet from being stored, I realized I had a lot of pilling on my sweaters, which is normal because I just literally washed them and let them dry, and then I put them in plastic bags. I don't know if you guys do that. I wash all of my sweaters at the end of the season. Ooh, here comes the sun. And I wash all of my sweaters at the end of each season. And I don't like body oil to store in my sweaters. Plus, I've heard that that's what the moths are attracted to, is your body oil. But I don't like taking my sweaters out and not having them fresh. So every sweater that I have worn, I actually wash this way. Now, when I took my sweaters out, again, like I said, I had a lot of pilling. And I thought, wow, I gotta get to work because I have a lot of pilling on my sweaters. So I also iron them. I steam iron my sweaters. And the reason that I'm telling you this is because I really think that we spend so much time knitting and making these beautiful garments. When you wear them, they need to look amazing. And you can't have pills and they can't be wrinkled. If you're lucky enough to live in a climate that's a lot of humidity, maybe those wrinkles work out, but they don't here. So I do have to steam my sweaters even before I wear them after they've just been folded in my closet because they have creases in them. So I always steam my sweaters. Okay, here we go on the pilling. So you have 4 ways that you can remove the pills from your sweater. And pilling, if you don't know, are just the little balls of fiber that form on your sweater from rubbing back and forth. Typically you'll have them under your arms and down the side and maybe around the hem where it gets a lot of friction and it rubs back and forth. So there are 4 things you can use to remove pills, and I'm going to go through them with you. One of them is a shaver, and this is called Wonderland. I don't know if you can get them anymore. I have one here and one at work, and it has a plug, so you can use it with a battery or you can use it with a plug. You can use a brush or a gleaner. This is a little travel gleaner that I got. There are big ones too. This one's great because that's as big as it is, and you can open it, and it has the different, what do I want to say, coarseness of how it pulls, very fine, semi-rough, and then this is the roughest one. And what you do is you brush it, and then this little brush, brushing backwards, removes the pill. Then there's the mohair brush, which I showed you before. The Petite Knit. I got this Petite Knit mohair brush in Norway, and it is a gem. I love this so much because I have a lot. And then, of course, scissors. And yes, you do need to remove some pills with scissors, and I'll tell you why. This is how I have it set out on my ironing board. I have a little canvas bag with my spray water, my starch, my spray starch, which I make myself, and then also all of these little tools are in this bag. So whatever sweater I'm laying out and I'm pressing for the day, steaming for the day, I use to remove the pills. So I'm going to kind of go through with you some basics and when to use what. So the shaver actually removes the pill. It has these little holes and it cuts the pill off. I probably use this the most actually, because once the pill's gone, it doesn't come back as easily if there isn't any fiber. I've also found that single ply or loosely spun yarn pills the easiest and the fastest, and a more tightly woven garment or yarn does not pill as easily, so keep that in mind. You also want to be really careful before you use the shaver or any kind of depiller because you can actually cut the yarn. What I'm talking about is, see this is from a kitten. See that is standing up, that little piece? This is from me. I wore this the other day, and then I grabbed a kitten and right here and gave him a little hug, and his claw got my sweater. Now I did depill this before I wore it, but it's a really good example. During the day when I wore it, it pilled again. This has silk in it, and the pilling is, they're these elongated, I'm trying to find one because I saw them. They're these elongated pills. I don't know if you can see them. They're long and stringy. See that? It's just this long string, and that's the silk. But I don't want to use the gleamer on this because it'll actually pull it. Even the soft one will pull it. So I shave those off, and it works really, really well. And after you've done the depilling on a sweater, a lot of times it doesn't, or after you've shaved it, it doesn't really come back. So this, for me, because it's silk and this would grab it, this would actually pull it. I would never use this on here. I would cut it, and then maybe you could comb it with this, but that is definitely a depil. Excuse me, a shaver. This is a sweater I'm going to donate to someone at work, and I noticed, I washed it. They smell so good when you wash them. But I noticed it has some pills on it, and I am going to depill it so that it's really nice when I give it to her. I will shave this probably, or I could use this. But the problem with this is you can see how I'm pulling that, and it does take it out, but it doesn't really remove it. And that's irritating because then the next time you wear it, there's that yarn again. So I may be way off base. This is not scientific. This is just me. So this would be a shaver. This is a boiled wool coat that I washed. I also hand washed all my wool coats. I've never done that before. But what happened, remember my house flooded and we had to race and take all of the coats that I had stored downstairs and we put them in a different room. They didn't get wet, but I had to get them out of that room. Well, I didn't know this, but my cat thought they were a great bed. So I'm like, I can't even donate these. They have cat hair. I'm not doing this. So anyway, I've never washed I mean, I'm talking about proper lined wool coats. I did the same thing I just told you. I put them in my washing machine by color on the gentle cycle. I've washed every single coat. I had my whole fence lined with them air drying, but they turned out absolutely beautiful. I will never dry clean a wool coat again because they turned out beautiful. I actually was watching, I remember in my 20s I was watching Martha Stewart. Yeah, what 20-year-old watches Martha Stewart? I did. I used to watch it. I've always liked home shows and home ec. I love all of that. So I remember her saying that natural fiber should never be dry cleaned. I don't think dry cleaning is as big as it used to be, but it used to be a really big thing. And she said everything can be hand washed. She cautioned you on lined suits, but I did wash 2 lined suits in my mayhem the beginning of the week. So I've washed those too. So as long as you are really careful that it's cold water and low agitation and low spin, you're okay. You're good. So I washed this boiled wool coat, and this has some small pills on it. It's like a coatigan. And it does have pills on it, again, under the arms, but it's heavy. So I would probably use the heavy gleamer on this because it doesn't have a lot that it will repill. So I need to do that. And this one was a boucle kind of wool coat that I did wash. Again, it's lined. They turn out beautiful. It smells so good. And this is one I noticed had some pilling, pretty bad on the, this is under the cuff. And this is when I would use scissors. And you just have to go really slow because you don't want to use a shaver. I think they're probably too thick to fit in the shaver. And I will just go along and trim all of these like this so that it turns out really nice. Because you want to be really selective on boucle. I mean, you're just kind of giving it a little haircut so that it's nice and neat. So I will go through this, and it's really just, again, underarm and down here. This is one that I'm wearing. I would use a shaver on because it's not that bad, and it would go really fast, actually. It's my favorite thing. I love the shaver. Now I want to stop my video and finish this project, but I won't. But I need to take care of this coat. I've had this coat forever, and I'm so happy that it's clean and I don't have to take it to the dry cleaners. I would always take my wool coats to the dry cleaners. Never again. They turned out absolutely fantastic. And what you would use the mohair brush on. You would use the mohair brush on this. Do you remember this was my Sela sweater? And this is actually brushed alpaca. Now I washed this. This is an example of what my sweaters look like. I washed this at the end of the season, and this is how they come out. They're wrinkly. It's all wrinkled. It doesn't look, I would look like a mess putting this on. So I would not put it on until I cared for it. So what I would do is I would take it to my ironing board. It's where I like to do my depilling. And I would sit with this brush and I will comb it, just like a pet. I will comb it, and once it looks good, I will take my steam iron and lay it flat and just kind of steam all over it and push it out until it looks amazing. Can't wait to wear this again. This was fun. I have some more brushed alpaca that my sister brought me from Norway. I'm gonna make another fun sweater like this. I have white and hot pink, I think. So that is how you take the pills and care for your sweaters. I hope it's helpful. I do the same thing. I even wash my summer sweaters, even if they're cotton, because there's something about putting clothes away for the season that have body oil on them. They don't smell good when they come out. And my nose is not just bionic, it is super bionic. I can smell things. So I have to have everything really clean, which is great. It's great. And then if you decide to give it away when you're unpacking, it's already clean. And by unpacking, I mean in Colorado, we have 4 distinct seasons. We have hot summer, cold winter, and the beautiful in between. So I do switch my clothes completely twice a year. And that's why I have to store, I don't have a big enough closet to have everything out, but it also helps me protect my sweaters. So once everything's clean, I tie them in a plastic bag, a clear plastic bag so I can see what's in it, and tie it really tight, and I store it in the basement. So that's how I care for my sweaters. I'd be interested to know how you guys do. Maybe you put them in tubs. Maybe you don't have, maybe you live in a season that you don't have to do that. Or maybe you don't have that many sweaters like me. I have a lot of sweaters. But I'm going to take a minute and tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Audrey sweater, my all-time favorite pattern. This is the Audrey sweater by Devin Ventry, and it has this beautiful classic top. This is the third one I've made. This is a worsted weight pattern, and I've talked to you about it before. It is probably the simplest pattern for a sweater. So if you're a new knitter and you want to knit a pattern, I will put the link below. A link is part of my bundle, and you can go get this pattern. It has no short rows. You can make it short sleeve. I think it's a 3/4 length pattern. I made this one long. I also made a short sleeve in DK using the Swticheroo worksheet. And then my first one is 3/4 length, but it's cropped. So I've made all kinds of variety, but I have to restrain myself from making this sweater because I want to make it in every yarn, but then I'd have all my sweaters the same. This little kerchief is the Clyde. I know that you've probably seen trending on Instagram and Ravelry, the Bonnie and Clyde duo scarf pattern from Isabel Kramer, and it's one price for 2 scarf patterns. And the magic of this pattern is that you can buy 2 skeins of yarn, I think it calls for DK weight. So I think it's 200 or 220 yards for each skein. And you can make this one, which is the Clyde, and the Bonnie is a little bit longer one. I'm going to put up the picture right now. And you can flip it and use the rest of your yarn. Now my sister and I split skeins. So I did mine first, and she's going to make the Bonnie or the Clyde. Which one do I have? I might have the Bonnie. I don't know. I'll see. When you put it up, you'll see. This yarn is from My Sister Knits, and it is some of the nicest, softest yarn I've ever knit with. It is from the Salty Blonde, and she's a Colorado dyer, and it's 100% wool, but we had to look to make sure it was 100% wool because it is so soft. This is a little bit short. If I want to wear it tied, I can wear it loose, which I'll show you later. But I have it with a little pin. You know my love for brooches. Actually, this is a brooch. I do like to wear them. And I've had a lot of you guys comments, and I have my brooches ready to give away. Trust me, I have trays of them. One of the watchers who actually lives in Fort Collins, her name is Elizabeth, and she came into our showroom. Here's a picture of Elizabeth. And my former coworker who still works for us, we beg her because she's awesome, Lisa. And so Lisa was in the store working one day, and Elizabeth came in, and I gave her a pin, a brooch. I'm going to explain the difference between a pin and a brooch. I myself get mixed up too. But anyway, I gave Elizabeth a brooch, and she brought me this darling scarf. Which, why would you think I would like this? Kitties and yarn. It is so cute, and it's cotton. And I didn't know if it was a kerchief, but it is a, she said it can be anything. It can be a napkin. I'm going to wear it as a little scarf, which I'll show you how I'm going to wear that later when I take this off. Actually, maybe I should take it off. I want to take this off because I want to show you a little trick. So here's the scarf. And I picked this one of the two because Isabel Kramer has that sweater pattern out that has this stitch in it, and I wanted to master it and I thought, well, why don't I do the scarf first? But I wanted to show you a little something. I don't know if you've ever, I haven't tucked in one of the ends. Do you see that? And I don't know if you've ever seen these little needles by Clover and how you use them. So this would be really difficult to thread a needle through, right? But these are so cool because you open them up, you put the little piece through. Can you see how that, I mean, that's not very much. And it kind of grabs it, and then you just take this end, and that's what you weave in. Now I'm probably going to take this out because I can't even see. But essentially, you weave it in like that, and and you can use the smallest little tails to get through. So isn't that clever? So I did that on purpose. I had this onto, and I thought, oh, I better weave in that end before my podcast. But then I thought it would be a great opportunity to show you these. And they're little needles by Clover, and they come in a pack of all different sizes. But I'll go in further. But you can really thread your tails in all the way. So that's clever. I'm going to show you how I'm going to wear this darling little scarf from Elizabeth. I was watching another one of my over 50 style things, and they said big scarves are out, little scarves are in. So this is how I'm going to wear this little scarf. Isn't it cute? So cute. I love this color. So that's how I'll wear it. So cute. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for thinking of me. I love cats and knitting, and I love having you come in. All right, what I have next is I can tell you what else I finished. Why don't I do that since I'm on a roll? Is this tied right? I can't see. I can't even see. I can only feel. I don't know where the other tail is. Yeah, okay. All right, so I finished these socks. This is just a basic sock that is a, what is it, a 3x2? 4x2. 2x2. It's a 2x2 rib. And I finished these on the trip that I'm going to tell you about next. And this yarn, I had actually wound up this yarn. I'd caked it up to make my Rita vest, but it was too much. And I've had it forever. And it is a Western Sky Knit sock yarn. And it's called the Aspen Sock. And the reason I'm telling you this, I actually emailed them to see if they still made this yarn, because I want to tell you, I couldn't stop knitting it. It is so soft. And let's see, what is it made of? Just nylon and wool. I thought for sure it had cashmere. It is so pretty. And the autumn socks. I needed to make something autumn. I had this little leftover from, I think, one of my Knitty McPurley socks. And I thought it was so pretty, but something happened because I was in Steamboat, which is kind of a sporty, it's a ski area. And I was knitting these socks, and I had my sport sandals, and I put these on and I wore them with the sport sandals. I felted them on the bottom because of the going back and forth. Can you see that? Just right there on both sides, but it's okay. It's on the bottom, which I was going to tell you guys something funny about felting. My husband brought me his socks. He's a runner, a mountain runner. And all of his socks are wool running socks. And he brought me these socks that were like shrunk in down here. Like they were like all shrunk and felted. And I thought that's exactly what happened. Because he goes through streams and all these things. And that's what happened was he had got them wet, and then the friction and the heat of his feet and going back and forth, he felted these wool socks, which you're not supposed to do because they're superwash. But I was able to get them wet and really block them out and pull it back out. And he could wear them again and probably felt them again. But I loved this yarn. I loved the colors, and yay, I finished socks. So I thought I had finished more, but I've actually been doing a lot of spinning. I bought some yarn, some wool fiber in Craig where I went, and I was so excited about it that I came home and started spinning. And I'm going to next time talk about spinning. I have a new spinner, and I'm going to talk about sock clubs or yarn clubs or monthly clubs that you get, and give you my take on it, because this was my first one that I've ever done. Because I know that a lot of signups are coming, and so I want you guys to be able to choose wisely. But I will go through that, my experience anyway. All right, so I'm going to talk about going to Craig. Now Craig, again, if you've been here before, the Continental Divide runs right down the middle of Colorado. And the Continental Divide is this huge thrust of the Rocky Mountains. And on the east side, where I live, all of the water goes down in through the plains to, some of it goes into the Missouri River, but it all ends up into the Gulf of America. And then on the west side, it supplies the water. All of the snowpack supplies the water for California, Nevada, Utah. It goes Arizona. The Colorado has its source in the Rocky Mountains. Stone's throw away. I could probably see it. And so they're really important. Well, I live on the east side, and then we go all the way over and all the way back down to my little town called Craig. And my husband had a race in Steamboat Springs, which is near Craig. And I took the opportunity the morning of his race, because it was a long race, I knew I had the whole day. I drove to my hometown, and I had a couple things to accomplish. Number one, I wanted to visit the graves of my mother and father, and my grandmother and grandfather on my dad's side, and also my grandparents on my mom's side. And so it was kind of an emotional trip, because I hadn't been back there since my mom's remains or ashes were buried, and so seeing that was pretty hard. But I needed to do it, have a good cry. And then I had I had contacted, I'd seen on Facebook, one of the young men, or at the time boys, that I had gone to high school with, and his family had a sheep farm, and I thought they were just like for meat producing sheep, and then wool, but not necessarily spinning quality wool. But I'd seen them at a fair. There was a picture of them on their Facebook page, and they were at a fair selling their yarn. And I'm like, oh, I would just love to have some of his yarn. The name is Wellman Family Farms, and the young man that I went to school with, his name was John, and his son met me. And here's a picture of his son named Eric. And he was telling me that his dad bought his first 5 Corriedale sheep specifically for wool when he was a freshman in high school, and grew the flock. And he's obviously running the farm now. It's a huge ranch. And here's the yarn I got. I said I wanted enough to make a sweater, and it's all undyed, and it's all Corriedale. It's so soft. So I don't know if I will make a white sweater or if I will dye it with some of my plant dyeing. I think it's probably too precious to experiment on. So I'm not sure I will dye it, but if I could show you how soft this is. And each one is 100% Corriedale yarn, which is a super, super fine yarn. And each one, 4 of them came from a lamb named Quigley, and 1 of them from Jessica. And there is no difference. You can't tell the difference, which is great. But I'm super excited to knit with this. It's very special. Again, Wellman Family Farms. And just the nicest family. I'm not surprised that his son was as polite and nice as he was always. He was just such a gentleman. And it must be that they started the Corriedales, because it says since 1976, which would be probably John's freshman year in high school. So it's very cool. I'll put some pictures up of from Facebook of theirs. You can follow him on Facebook. I did ask him if they sold their yarn, if could do mail order, and he said yes. So that's great. I also bought some fiber, which I have some I have some rabbit brush. Maybe this wants to be rabbit brush when it's ready, when it's all spun up. But I'm pretty excited. So this is not Corriedale though. He told me what it is, and I'll have to ask him. But pretty excited about that. They're painting a house behind me, so if you can hear that, that's okay. I'm not going to ask them to stop painting. All right, and then I went on to Yampa Valley Fiberworks, and here is a little bit of the entrance to Yampa Valley Fiberworks. It's her colors. So this gold and greens, and she's really low on stock because people from all over the country come and order her yarn. Here's the sport weight. Look at the blue. You can see how she's sold out, which is great. You love to see a small business really excelling. Look at that color. That's the color I'm going to show you in the video that she's dyeing up. It's beautiful. And then over here she has classes. You can follow her on Facebook and see all of the fun things that she does, and you'll see this little table full of people crafting. Just super cool. Lots of little gifts and notions. I did buy some roving and some yarn, both for me and my sister. And there's Lorraine. I thought she was gonna, there's Lorraine.
Fresh out of the dye pots, not looking too good.
That's okay. You'll see her on the video dyeing the beautiful blue yarn. So I'm just gonna ask you a few questions.
Okay.
How long have you had this mill?
So we've been milling for 12 years.
Wow.
We've been in the yarn business for 19.
Wow.
So we started making yarn with this mill. They spun it for us, and then we bought the mill.
Okay, so now you're milling it and spinning it.
Yep.
That is so cool. Well, I love your yarn, and I'm glad
Thank
that
you.
you are a total sellout all the time. But it keeps you going
It
24/7.
does. I'm dreaming colors all the time, and what the next spin is. Thank you. Thanks for coming again.
You're welcome. It was good to see you again. Bye, Lorraine.
Bye.
What? This is teal.
It is. It's.
So pretty.
It has that green base. I mean, it leans towards green a little bit.
So pretty.
But we call it Sassy Sue. This is sport weight. BFL.
While I was there, there was the most hellacious rainstorm. And she said, you brought the rain because we haven't had rain all summer. It's so dry there. But it rained and rained and rained. And they have a metal roof. I thought the metal roof was coming down. But Lorraine and Lewis have a yarn processing or mill operation. And they process, I would guess, from all over the United States, but mainly from this area, because I know that a lot of people do process there. Actually, the Wellmans process their yarn at Yampa Valley Fiberworks, but they're just the nicest people, and she has the most beautiful yarn, and I will put in a little bit of the process after I show you my yarn. So I bought a sweater's quantity of this. This is soft too. This is 100% BFL, Blue Face Luster. So I got this purple. It's like plummy purple. And it's a sport weight yarn, but I think that her yarn, it feels a little more like DK to me. And then I got these to go with it. Look at the tonal on this one. This is what she was dyeing when I was there. And it was still wet. I wanted a skein for myself and for my sister. Look at the tonal in that. It's so pretty. And so on my way, all the way home, I had this hanging in the back of my car. It wasn't dripping, it was just soaking wet. And my car smelled like wool. It was so good. But I want to show you, I'm not going to get this right, the colors I bought to make my sweater, using my little color cards that I showed you last time. But look how pretty that would be. It's a dark plum, the tonal, and then this orange. Or she gave me a little, this is actually my color. This is more poppy. See how this is definitely orange? And this is poppy. And this is my color. This is my favorite color, I think. It's so pretty. I love poppy. I don't know if you can see the difference on the film, but, and then I did buy some things for my sister, which I've already given her, so I can't show you. And then I bought this fingering, which is silk and 80% Blue Face Luster and 20% silk. And then I bought Bob's wool. And I learned something. I learned something about wool, that it changes over over time. The sheep's wool changes over time. This is undyed. And this is the story of Bob. And here's a picture of Bob. I wish I had a better picture. He's cute, isn't he cute? Meet Bob. Bob is our ambassador of the flock. We raised him on a pop bottle, feeding him 3 times a day, which he was a bum lamb, meaning he didn't have a mom. He takes a trip to the fair every year and shows off his beautiful wool. He had to have one of his eyes removed, so he always has a head tilt, and that's how he is in the picture. He's very cute. He loves treats, and he loves being the center of attention. This is his 2nd and 3rd year fleece, spun up in a sport weight. I had to ask Lorraine about that. I said, I don't know what that means. And she said, over time, each year the fleece is different. If you have this from the same sheet. And I don't know if they get lighter or darker. I can't remember. She told me. But you can see here that it's a lighter with a darker. And it makes this really cool blend. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I'm not sure what Bob is. Does it say what he is? What kind of a sheep he is? But anyway, I'm glad that they didn't put him down, that they had his eye removed instead. I think he had an infection, but he's beautiful. He's beautiful. So I have Bob, enough to make something from Bob. And so here's a little bit of their mill. I want to put that in and show you a little bit of the spinning process. Next, I'm going to talk to you about what I am working on. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to put the name of this sweater up because I'm not sure what I did with my instructions. I think my instructions are up on my desk. So I'm knitting this sweater, and I want to put a picture up this of the construction. It's a cardigan. And this is the shoulder construction. You're not going to be able to see it on this yarn, so here's a picture of what it is. And I've done this shoulder construction once before on my April cardigan from Petite Knits. And you can't see it because this yarn is dark. But it basically has that saddle and then splits off. And it is the prettiest shoulder. Now this I've kind of steam blocked already. And this is a cool cardigan because it has the band knit in. So I'm not going to have to pick up. And I wish that I could find more patterns like this. I know there are a couple out there that I have marked, but it's very interesting how you do it. You just start in the back, you knit a little bit of the back, and then you attach it on both sides. Anyway, it's very interesting, super easy. But this is the Raw Wool Company wool. I talked about it before. It's a small dyer in Cornwall. And this is the Zwarble sheep. It's not very soft. I'm a little bit worried because even it's very rustic. It's probably one of the most rustic yarns I've ever knit with. But this is called the Rum and Raisin. I got this last year and had it sent when my husband went to England. Had it sent to his sister's house or his mom's. And I don't think I'm going to have enough yarn. So I've been in a little bit of a panic. I got 4 skeins, 240 yards a piece. And normally I have plenty of yarn. Normally that's 1,000 yards. I can do just about anything, but it just seems like, I don't know why. So I'm in a little bit of a panic. He's going again in a couple weeks. And after I learned what I've learned from Lorraine, that the sheep change every year, I'm a little panicked. They do have a new batch out. I got batch 2. They have batch 4 out of Rum and Raisin. and I'm a little panicked that it's not going to match. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go as long as I want on the cardigan, and I'm almost there. I probably have another couple inches, and then I'm going to start the arms and just go a little ways on each one and stop until he gets back, and I'll have to helical knit all the way down the arms, which is okay. I'm just so glad. I thought, because I remember they only shear once a year, and it's a limited quantity, and I looked, and maybe it's because it's the same time they have it again. So it will be beautiful. I'm trying to pick buttons out. I'm not sure what I'm going to pick. I have a couple. I should have laid them out for you. So I don't know whether to go brown. I have a couple brown options. I don't know if it's going to be dressy enough to be, it's kind of rustic and not very dressy, which will help determine. Because if I was making it for work and it was nicer, I might want to dress it up and put gold buttons on. I have these, which kind of pick up both. And then I have some buttons of my dad's. Now my dad was in the military, and he had this little bag of buttons. I don't know if he took them off uniforms or what, but they're all that kind of a button. And they have all of this. Some of them are the same. He was a corpsman in the Navy and the Marines. So they're pretty special, and I have a lot of them. So he must have taken them off every uniform before he got rid of the uniform. There's one here. There's a couple that are bigger and some that are shinier. So I could theoretically, but it has to be a sweater I really, really, really love. Can you see them? Because they're super cool and very special to me. So, not sure that's the sweater to put them on. So, probably I will not be able to finish this. My husband won't be back until the 1st of December. He's not going for a while, so it's going to take a while for me to get that yarn. So I'll go as far as I can, and then I'll be done until he gets back. Because this is all I have for the rest of the body and the sleeves. It's not going to be enough. So pretty fortunate that they have another batch out. And then I'm also working on these socks, and I love these socks. They're called Autumnalia, and I'll put the picture up. But they are like a ribbed pattern, not a ribbed pattern, a brick pattern. What do you want to say? You see the relief? And they are so much fun to knit. I kind of messed up the pattern. It was interesting because it does 7 knits, 7 purls, and then they're offset. And I thought, gosh, I wish they weren't even. Well, I did accidentally made them uneven and did 5 and 7, which I'm thrilled because I actually think it looks better. This is some old yarn my sister gave me. And I was trying to find autumn socks, and it's some old Knit Picks socks that are Knit Pick yarn, machine washable. Whoops. Definitely not available anymore. But it's super washable, 25% nylon and 10% Donegal tweed. And it's called Inca Gold Tweed. Very fallish. I love them. Very excited about them. I am still loving my little yarn case. Remember this? Oh my gosh, this is the best. I love this so much. I never take my double points out that I need to use. All my stuff, I love this thing. So I'm working on that. And I'm just starting to work. I don't know if you guys watch Leslie Friends, the Friend to Knit With. But in a couple episodes ago, she had a bag that she was going to make, and she made it. And you actually sew it. So my sister and I both bought the kits, and literally the bag, I mean, it comes pre-stamped with the holes. but you hand sew it together. And so I bought one for her birthday, and I bought one for myself. We're making the same bag she made, which I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it says the Pitcatin bag. And we both did brown leather with brown matched color. So I'm kind of regretting that. I wish I would have done, I don't know, we'll have to see. But I'm going to start working on that. I thought I'd do it this week, but I haven't even knit this week. Can you believe it? I've been so busy just taking care of my stuff, which it is a good feeling to take care of the stuff. All right, so what else have I been working on? I think that's it. I will show you some more acquisitions. I do. So this pattern she had on, it's called the Roma vest, and she had it on in this blue color. And it was so cute. And she had it made out of this possum. And I bought this color because I thought it was really classy. So I got this to make the Roma vest. So that I'm going to actually get caked up so that I'm ready to go when I'm at a stopping point from this other sweater. And I bought this. I haven't even opened it yet. I love packaged things. So my sister and I each got one of these. And it's called CFC Vintage Socks. Camellia Fiber Company. And it's basically mohair and then sock, but this is how they did it. So the mohair is, you mix it in every once in a while, like in the cuff, the heel, and the toe. Other than that, it's just a nice white sock. And I picked this periwinkle. I thought it would be really pretty. So bought the pattern, bought the socks. Excited about that. That'll be my next socks, I think. Kind of Christmassy and cool. And then, let's see, I think that's all. Oh, no, I bought these. I went upstairs to the sale and they had these, I should cut this off, these mitten blockers. And I thought, I need some mitten blockers. And so I put my Norwegian mitts on there. Again, I want to start some Norwegian knits for sure. Some more mitts. I have all my yarn ready to go. And then what will I do next? I don't know if you guys have seen people doing this sweater, the Norma sweater. I would love to do the Norma sweater with some of the yarn I bought in Norway. I think it's a DK weight. So I'd like to do that. So I bought the pattern. And then I bought this pattern at My Sister Knits because they had this vest up. And again, it's going to be hard to see. It's called Last Words. I think I better put a picture up because I think it's really, really pretty. It's like a 2x2 rib or a 3x2 or something. What is it? Can't tell. But it's really pretty. I think it is a little more rustic looking again, but probably could be dressed up depending on what kind of yarn you used. It's called The Last Word by Baby Cocktails. And I do like that pattern. That'll be my next vest. Well, after the Roma. I like that Roma. Okay, I think that's all I have as far as things that I'm working on. I took you to Craig. I fixed your sweaters for you. So that is the knitting part of the podcast. I will tell you a little bit about my staycation now and what's been happening with the kittens at my house. So if you're leaving, I will see you next time. And if you're staying, whoa, our house. So if you've been around for a while, you know that almost 2 years ago, we started a 12-week renovation project. We are in litigation, or not in litigation yet, but we have filed a lawsuit and hoping to recoup some of this money. And not so much that I wanted to do a lawsuit, but I just thought, you know what, they can't continue to do this to people because apparently we are in line, but their insurance company's involved. So I do feel like we will get something from them to help recover all of the costs that we've had to essentially pay twice to have all this stuff done. But enough is enough. I don't want to talk about that anymore. But thank you for asking. I've had actually 3 or 4 people ask how it was going. And I feel like I'm finally being able to breathe and yeah, enjoy my house. And the kittens have been a big part of our lives now. In fact, I can't tell you how much fun they are. We have a little tradition in our family that we ask, what was the best part of your last year? At your birthday dinner, what's the best part of your last year? And then what are you most looking forward to? Well, it's crazy because the best part of my last year is for sure the kittens. I mean, they have been such a blessing to us. They are so easy. They are so cute. They're big now. In fact, Dickens, who's the big black one, he is big. He's going to be a panther. He's as big. He weighs as much as our other cat, as one of our adult cats. He's going to be really big. And the little girl, Bronte, she's petite and tiny still. And then the tiger twins, they're almost exactly weigh the same. They're not twins, but they look like twins. There are subtle differences in them. So anyway, they are so much fun. We do have them outside now during the day when we're outside. They climb trees, they run around, they chase bugs, they bring in little teeny garter snakes. It's terrible, which we take from them. A lot of grasshoppers. They have a lot of fun chasing grasshoppers, which I'm really grateful for because the grasshoppers decimated my garden this year. So it keeps them busy all day. They're really fun. So that is the kittens. The rest of the week, I'm going to go stain this piece of furniture this afternoon. It's all ready and dry. And I'll let you know how it goes. And then on Friday, I am going to take a little trip to see my daughter. My daughter lives in Phoenix, and she's not going to be able to come home for Thanksgiving or Christmas, I don't think. And so I thought, you know what? I've had the craziest year. I am going to take a little trip and go see her. Got an Airbnb, has a pool, and I'm just going to hang out with her and knit. And that's why I kept telling myself all week, just keep going, because you're going to knit for 3 days. So I'm excited to do that. I'll knit on the plane. I'll try and put my bag together. I hope to get the podcast out before I leave. And so while you're watching it, I will probably be in Phoenix with my daughter. I think that's it, you guys. I will, again, next time talk about spinning because I want to share something really excited that I think everyone is attainable for everyone. And I think you all should dive in. And I am going to talk about Yarn of the Month or Project of the Month clubs. So until next time,